the Long Bangers Wednesday night phone in. This one, unfortunately, talking about well, a Nick Walsh performance in another honking derby at Tynecastle, a rerun of any derby that you've seen in Tynecastle for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years at least. Just before we get started today, I just wanted to take a wee minute just to explain what we do in the phone in and how this works. So, a lot of people who tune in every week will recognise the familiar faces, the folk who join us, and as grateful as we are for them all coming on. Nobody gets invited on, so Jeff, John, Joe, Stephen are on tonight. I only knew they were coming on just as I opened up the call and the guys joined. So what we do is we post the Zoom details up on our Patreon, and if you're a YouTube member, we post them in there as well. And pretty much any Hibs fan who wants to come on and give their opinion on it can join in the Zoom call. So if you want to come on at any point, you are more than welcome. We don't vet attendees, as I was saying, like I don't know who's going to be on until we open it. The guys that come on every week do a great job. I really appreciate the fact that you give up an hour of your evening on a Wednesday night or sometimes a Thursday night to come and help us out with it. So, but just to explain this is the way it works. It's a fan phone in. It's a chance for everybody else. It's not me and John and Colin to kind of air the reviews on all things Hibs. So, John McGlynn said, evening all, fucking seething. That's all for now. Yes, John, I think that will be the overriding feeling for the night. And Ronnie said, hi, bangers. Hi, Ronnie. Jeff, I'll come to you first. How do you want to start the conversation tonight?
The goal. So not a free kick, but it's given, and as Davy Gray said, it was far enough away from when the ball eventually went in that it should have been defended better. Ewan should have stood over the ball, let the cross come in. I'm not criticising too much. It's hard to stop somebody putting a cross in case they go the other side of you. He was on his own, and he has got a good left foot on him. Then it goes. Did it go through McGrath's legs? Or
McGrath's a bit of a fresh
air. Once he went, he's guarding that space, which is is spot on. Once it goes through there, it's anybody's. And the midfielder, it was a midfielder that ran onto it and scored. So somebody's not doing their job. I haven't been able to get a good enough view of when the ball actually went in. I know a lot of people are blaming Rocky, who's guarding the right area as far as I'm concerned. So the goal was really disappointing. I mean, they never troubled us, apart from a few free kicks. So I thought any football that was played generally was played by us, especially on the break. We had some great breaks and just either made the wrong decision or fucked it up.
What would you put that down to, Jeff? Because that was the story of the last derby at Tynecastle as well. If you remember, Boyle had the two big opportunities of the night. We don't take them, and then we get that late sucker punch as happened last night. No. What do you think is going wrong for us in front of goal when we go to Tynecastle?
Has Boyle ever scored at the Hibs end?
Yeah, at the Hibs end.
Yeah. I can't remember him scoring at that end. I just wonder if there's some sort of fucking force field that means he can't put the ball in there. I'm racking my brains. I've seen, I can't think of him scoring. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. So
well, he scored at Tynecastle. Obviously,
he's at I know that.
Yeah, he's had his double there and everything, but I don't know about Hibs end.
But it's just about that end. He just never seemed to score. He did well to get to the ball, but you should be turning that in. That cross from Nicky Cadden. The first half, Paslak's pass was just a little bit too hard. But I personally thought Ball could have stepped onto it and hit it with his left foot. Just went onto it, but obviously he's not confident, so then he will lose the chance. Hearts never had situations like that. We had all the good either chances or situations, as far as I can remember. That one where Rafa hurt his head in the challenge to the Hearts guy at the back post. I mean, I think on Premier they were trying to say, they fashioned a chance here. The ball ricocheted about 3 times and it ended up going to the cunt at the back post. Like, and should he have done better? Maybe, but Christ. Anyway, so my point is, it's the story of the season. This season, we've not taken our chances. It started off in the European games, continued. We have taken chances, obviously, because we've scored quite a few goals. But if we'd taken our chances against Rangers at Ibrox in the Cup, before they scored, the one at Tynecastle, but I thought we played better last night than we did the last game there. where that had 0-0 written all over it once Boyle missed that one chance. I thought we played okay in the circumstances, the conditions, the referee, a new team put together. I mean, it's still a work in progress. This time last season, we made one, possibly two changes amongst a pool of about 15 players. Now we're back to try to bed in a number of players and bring people back from injury, and it's showing. It's just not that cohesion there, which prevents stuff like the last minute goal. Oh, was it last minute? I can't remember.
I think it was 3 or 4 minutes to go. Felt pretty last minute. It would have been as well been last minute for all the added time that Walsh had. Let us have it.
Yeah, I mean they got a free kick. They took about a minute and 15 over the free kick before they took it. I was timing it, going, well, that's not going to get added on. Fuckers. So yeah, I don't know. It's I know Ian would probably say they should be coached into being better strikers or scoring, but the chances they had, you don't need to be coached to put that ball in the net or make that pass. It's just at the moment they're making in the critical moments they're making bad decisions or just not executing properly at either end. Pass like that was the 90th minute of his first full game for a while, I bet, and he didn't stop the cross coming in, which was difficult to do. Harry Milne's a good at going up and down that wing and putting the ball in, but it should never have got to the guy who scored. Never got to him.
What did you think of Paslak's evening? Because there was a few concerns going into the game about Paslak given his first 20 minutes against Dundee United. But how did you think he got on overall in the night?
I was one of those that wanted Megway in. I'll make my bones about it. I was saying put Megway in because he had Kerry, the Greek guy, in his pocket at Easter Road. Never got a look in, but that was probably because of him and Mulligan combined. Last night, again, Kizaridis did nothing.
Yeah.
So Paslak had a good game, and he got forward probably more than Megway would, and he did nearly create that chance for ball. He came up like an inside forward behind the player, laid it off to Boyle, or tried to lay it off. Just conditions as well. I mean, it's really wet and skiddy. We're all watching from either at the ground or in our living rooms, like I was, and it's easy to do it. And he at the moment, first derby, first full game, first start. No, it wasn't his first, second start, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, Paslak, I was quite impressed with him. Could he have stopped the crossing? Yes, he could have done, but there's mitigation for him not doing it.
Okay, I'm going to get a couple of comments off of YouTube, Jeff, to put to you before I go to John, and we have got some comments on Twitter to run through tonight as well. So Jay Star said, season's over, be sixth place, shocking season, ball missing chances as always, story of the season, Gray can't be manager next season. And Kenny says, evening guys. Ronnie said, absolutely gutted last night, can't believe that, ref. And Kenny said, one shot on target all game is not good enough over 90 minutes against anyone. It's a couple of things to pick at there, Jeff. The first thing, the season's over. Do you feel the season's over?
No. We've still got a chance to get into Europe. If it's not going to be Rangers, it'll be Rangers or Celtic win the cup, then fifth place will probably be in Europe. Because Hearts are no.
I think so. Yeah, I think
that's the way it goes. So we need Celtic or Rangers to win the cup if we're fifth. We still Motherwell haven't had a bad run yet, or a stumble. If they don't, then fair play to them. Fair play to the manager. So still plenty to play. We've got the new players, the ones we've signed full time. Like Owen Eldon. Like you, I've got a mental block with his last name. It just doesn't flow. Owen.
I know. It is Owen Eldon, though.
Paslak, look forward to them. Scarlett for the rest of the season as he gets fitter. There's a lot to look forward to. Maybe some of the young lads coming in as well. So it's not over. A lot to play for. If we're thinking one defeat by in a shit derby is ending the season, and also we've got the chance when and if we make top six to. We've got Hearts at Easter Road. That could be fun if they're still in contention and we fuck them. That could be quite a highlight.
We've still got a part to play for sure. What about the comment for J Star? The Gray can't be manager next season. What are your thoughts there, Jeff?
Well, I'm a Gray fan, so well, that'll be a second season. We finished third.
Right. Ian, pop yourself on mute a wee second, please. I can do it. There we go. Right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if right, there's no point going on about it now because we don't know how the season's going to end. If we go have a really good run again and get into Europe, so that is him finishing third and getting us into Europe 2 seasons on the trot. I think that's a pretty good record compared to other managers we've had. Could we have done better with a more experienced manager, or the guy from Malmo? Maybe, we don't know. So you got to be careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for. I personally won't make a decision until the end of the season. If we have a catastrophic run now, right up until May, and don't make top six in that, then yeah, definitely questions to be answered with the money we've spent and the investment in the squad. But definitely not at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. John, I'm going to come on to you next. One of the other big talking points of the game was the referee. What were your thoughts on Mr. Walsh's performance?
Well, it's clearly Shanklin wasn't playing, so it was the big centre half who got away with a wild tackle right at the beginning of the match, wiping out a Hibs player. And I don't think he even got spoken to about it. Frankie Kent. So no, I thought lots of the decisions were the typical small-minded decisions that we get from referees in Scotland. The minimal contact, player goes down. They did it more than us. I mean, Rocky certainly got a very, very soft free kick in the second half, getting tickled in the back. Shuto, there's just a movement with his left foot, I mean, that will justify the referee giving that tackle. The hand that goes across Boyle to sort of pull him up in the middle of the pitch. It's not the biggest back in the world, but it is definitely a hold. Their winger who decides to just body hug Paslak as he's breaking out on the counter. None of those got a yellow card. Chai was a yellow card.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's running towards the box and it's arm over the shoulder, pull him back. Look, I'll not turn around and say that he got that wrong, but that's the problem with the game, is that you've got a referee out there that, let's be honest with you, next time Colin sees him in a coffee shop, can he just go in two-footed? I mean,
if it what he wants to do is put a Hearts top on first and then go in two-footed and he'll get away with it.
It was so inconsistent, but again, we've got referees who think they are playing the moment. They hear all the things about it's a derby game, don't give yellow cards too soon. All the stuff that, something, just shelve it. Don't referee the game from minute one. I mean, as the rules want it to be. And see if the player gets down to 8 against 8 because the players lose their head. That's the player's fault, not yours. I mean, so there's so many things that came out in his performance last night. But I don't think we can blame him for losing the game. I think there are margins in there which make it feel more difficult. He didn't cut out the Nicky Cadden ball that was going across the Boyle at the back post. He didn't have an 8-yard pass to Boyle going through and miss him by 4 yards. I mean, he didn't get in front of the defender on the 6-yard line and put the ball over the bar as Boyle did.
Yeah.
I mean, all the reasons that we lost the game are there. The focus on the free kick. He's given a free kick on the halfway line. I mean, and it's like them giving a toss up for a by kick. I mean, these are situations which aren't going to impact the game of what would bother them. And the simple idea is that if you're going to pick out one person there, you pick out McGrath. I mean, I would bet, you would bet your house on anything, but if you were forced to, McGrath running back with the ball coming at him, is that going to meg him? No, it's not. He's going to collect the ball and clear it. I mean, and the freak, four players went in on 2 centre halves running for the edge of the area, and one of them gets on it. I mean, but the McGrath's the mistake there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the ball should never get through. And it's not the referee giving the free kick, but it builds into that idea that the referees are against. I just think that they're not very good. I think they try to be too clever.
I think you're being kind on him last night, John. I have to say, like,
No,
generally, I try to
no,
defend referees, but I cannot get my head around him being poor last night rather than being biased with the way that he refereed the game.
but that's the thing. But I listed four that I thought should be
Mm-hmm.
yellow cards. You know what I mean? And there'll be a little refereeing thing of don't give it too early. There wasn't the triangle sail in the middle of the pitch of the pullback.
Yeah.
Uh, the defender's too far away for it to be a break. I mean, all this pish. I mean, it's that idea that when you're applying the laws of the game, it's your opinion, you've got latitude to decide how the laws apply at that time. That's the get out of jail. I mean, and that's why I'm making the point about no, just referee the game straight.
Yeah.
I mean, don't look for anything clever. If someone's going to pull somebody back, whether it's in the edge of the area for a counter attack, whether it's running into the opposition box, whether it's in the middle of the pitch, moving into space to get the ball out to Nicky Cadden to put a ball into the middle. You know what I mean? Give the
Mm-hmm.
yellow cards. And but we've always been frustrated about the dark arts that Hearts get away with. But no, would I give him pass marks in the game? No, if I was in the stand, he would be getting absolutely hammered for an inconsistent performance and decisions that went for one team. And irrespective of how clever you think you're being and saying this is how I can justify them all,
Mm-hmm.
no, you've made an arse of it.
Ian McIntosh on Twitter asked, are Hibs going to make an official complaint about the blatant cheating? Can't have an official, as this needs to be addressed urgently. Do you think Hibs should be? I saw David Gray getting some criticism for not being vocal about the referee in his post-match stuff. Should Hibs have come out fighting?
If I'm honest, I don't think it makes a difference. If you there's only two clubs in Scotland that can complain about referees. That's Rangers and Celtic. And that's because the referees have to go and buy their milk at a Tesco on a Sunday morning, and there's enough Rangers and Celtic fans around the country that they want to be able to come back and find that they've still got a windscreen.
Aye. Ian, you got your hand up?
It was quite interesting because I did a Matty and a rewound Radio Scotland commentary on my way home, and you said you'd done that before.
I have.
But it was interesting because the commentators were absolutely incredulous right at the start of the match with the ref decisions. I couldn't believe it, and I can't think it was Ryan Stevenson, the ex-Hearts player. He actually said, "How can you book Chaiwa, but you don't book Frankie Kent?" You know, and they were completely amazed that the referee did that. So, and I assume they're as near as you can get to neutral.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, right. I mean, if Ryan Stevenson's saying it, he's probably as far away you can get for neutral, given him. So if he's saying it, you can. You're onto something. Kevin Feary said, in my opinion, the man of the match was the referee. Should have gone to Specsavers. And then we've got McCann, the man says, total inconsistency for the start with regards to the referee. How many times does a Jambo player fall down holding his face or leg? Instant free kick or yellow card against Hibs while ignoring the exact same foul on Hibs. We're useless in the dark arts. Would not have helped last night, right enough. John, sticking with you.
Matty, to pick up on that, I mean,
yeah.
One of the there's a couple of technical fouls that referees give all the time, and Scarlett got booked because his hand touched a player's face and the player went down as if there was a sniper. You know what I mean? Now the referee has to make a judgment there, but that's a problem. I mean, if you look at it across the game, that's one of those technical fouls that they're all given. Chai was one, you know what I mean, with the player running through, getting pulled back, and any tackle in that area, you know what I mean, that doesn't win the ball is getting. There's lots of these ones that the referees have, but they can't actually referee the game as a game of football.
What about the point, John? So coming away from the referee for a minute, Kenny's point: one shot on target all game's not good enough. And Togs said, "Won't say we were unlucky as we didn't defend the goal well enough. Where we had a bit more, had we had a bit more composure, we could have been 2 or 3 up." And Ryan says, left the game more feeling nothing last night than gutted. Can't keep saying we didn't deserve that when we can't defend our box late in the game when it matters. Story of our entire season. One shot on target's not good enough, John, is it? Like, how do we change that in the derby so to get more creative? Because it feels like that is every Tynecastle derby.
Well, Hearts will try and drag you into battle at Tynecastle, and if you want to go into the battle, and then that's the sort of game you get. That's what happened. Hearts had about 2 minutes 36 seconds of playing football just at the start of the second half, and that was the totality of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the points where we got the ball down and we tried to play football, we looked good. We could play out through the press. We were just disjointed as a team. We had Scarlett up front who didn't fire the same way as he'd fired against Dundee United. I mean, he would probably be slightly disappointed with his performance. I don't think who was it? There was Andrews in midfield was doing a tidy enough job without influencing anything.
Mm-hmm.
More sort of closing down space. We never really got from Chaiwa. Nicky Cadden got a couple of decent balls into the area, but never quite beat the defender to pick out the Hibs player at the back post. First shot on target should have been either Paslak hitting it himself or when he tucks it into Boyle to knock it into an almost empty net. Boyle should hit the target from the 6-yard line. If the goalie saves it, fine, but he should get it on target. We tried the trick corner, I mean, where we sclaffed the ball, but actually that was well played, just didn't come off. We had opportunities, but the main problem was we got into battle. Boyle couldn't outrun Beningame, but the ball's bending away from him rather than towards him. But again, Boyle, when he got his double a few years ago at Tynecastle, would have been a yard ahead of him by the time he got to the area. I mean, it's just nothing towards the top end clicked. We had two players who hadn't played together. We had another person in midfield, I mean, who was okay. It was a bitsy team, so we got a bitsy performance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it is. I mean, Hearts had 2 shots on target. We had 1.
Yep.
I mean, and their other shot on target was the one low from the corner that clearly had everybody's hearts in their mouth when it bounced up, but Salinger just reached out an arm and plucked it. But it was, yeah, you got a short pitch. It's the same width as everything else, but it's short, and it's just a battle.
Okay, John, I'm going to bring Joe in next. Joe, what were your thoughts on it last night?
Well, I think really I don't want to talk about the referee anymore. No interest in if the referee had a bad game. Hearts had a worse game than the referee, and they were there for the taking last night. We need to focus on Hibs and what they didn't do. They didn't really create many decent scoring chances.
Mm-hmm.
We brought in 6 new players in the transfer window. We brought the 19-year-old young laddie in midfield. He's the only midfield player, and we're lacking that midfield general creativity in the midfield. Okay, I appreciate Mulligan's out injured, but come on, Hibs. We need a bit more in the midfield. Hibs really blew it last night because Hearts were terrible. Hearts were awful. And they stole it at the end. It was a smash and grab. McInnes couldn't believe his luck at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, okay, the referee had a sight of it. Notwithstanding that, we really need to, if we're going to bring anything at all out of this season, and the 4th still isn't out with us, hopefully a number will be done on Motherwell tonight, but basically, we've really got to try and get that midfield sorted.
What do you think was lacking, Joe? Was it that enforcer last night?
We had creativity. I mean,
there
weren't a lot of great chances created. Yes, there was the chance that Boyle should have maybe scored in the first half. Other than that, I know in the second half where there was a bit of pressure, we had 4 corners back to back in our favour, but still never created anything. We're lacking that creativity. That's the problem with Hibs at the moment. Now, hopefully, as has just been said, trying to get these new players in and getting them to gel together. They've not had much time together. But I think Boyle needs a rest for a few games, quite honestly. I mean, how many times have we said in recent podcasts of this, oh, Boyle, if only he'd done this, or only if Boyle had done that. I think we should start with our two new strikers, Dean Scarlett and Suto, on Saturday against St Mirren.
What did you make of the new players last night, Joe? So we got a good look at a few of them. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, as was mentioned, Scarlett had a quieter game, but I mean, he was being quite well marked. I'd like to see Suto coming for the start against St Mirren on Saturday.
And how about Garnanga at the back?
Oh, I'm a fan of his. Yeah, definitely a fan of his. And, you know, the goal that we lost at the end was a real comedy of errors. You know, if you listen to previous comments a few minutes ago, there was 3 of them to blame, arguably, for the Hearts goal. But at the end of the day, if we had somebody controlling that midfield, okay, McGrath had just come back from injury and they only had, I don't know what it was, 20 minutes or something on the park. But that's where we need to get it right. The centre of midfield is crucial. You know, you guys will think I'm like a crack record. If we kept playing Dylan Revitt at 6, if we played him at 8, we might have had a different season. You know, we're lacking that number 8, that creative midfield player, in my view.
Joe Beldam last on Twitter said Hibs to petition the SFA to reduce football matches to 80 minutes. And John White said the dogs in the street know we make 3 substitutions after 60 minutes. I think that opposing managers know it too. The Hibs in the final stages of games, we are a bit of an outlier in the league for conceding late goals. What do you put that down to, Joe?
Ian would say it's lack of management to a certain degree, and I would agree with him there. You know, why is this happening? You know, the guys should be taught to concentrate all the way. Is it because they bring players on at 60, 65 minutes and they're still not up to speed by the end? I don't know. You know, we need to reverse that. We need another last-minute rally, for God's sake.
I mean, I suppose we had just last week with the 2 late goals that we scored, but it feels like we concede them more than we scored them late on. John, you got your hand up?
I think something on Patreon earlier. The last 6 derbies, our record is 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. At 85 minutes, it's winning 4, drawing 2. The 2 more, we've clearly moved to 2 losses and a draw in terms of that. There's a different thing that's happened in every game.
Yep.
But I've heard Colin mention it in the past and stuff like this. But there's something that needs to get into everybody in the club. I mean, the past 2 seasons, Hearts have taken 4 goals off you. I mean, every game this season they've scored beyond the 85th minute. I mean, it became 3-2 at Easter Road and we still won the game. There's something there. I mean, that's different every time, but they have to find a way to battle through that. There's no definitive cause. It's more getting a psychologist then to look at it as to what people are doing, look for individual mistakes. But no, it's not too small a group to give a pattern, but it's enough to get pissed off about it.
Joe, your hand up, on you go.
Yeah, can I just quickly come in just to give the Hibbies something to smile about? Rangers are winning 1-0 against Motherwell. So that's rather positive.
Never thought we would be saying that. It's like, go away for a shower. Stephen, I'll come to you next. Rob Morris said, even though, well, I believe 4th is still on, I wouldn't mind at all if Gray started experimenting a bit with formations and players with a view to next season. What's everyone else's thoughts on that? So what are your thoughts on that, Stephen? Is it time to start experimenting?
Well, it's a squad game nowadays. I wouldn't be, somebody said earlier, dropping Boyle. For me, Boyle, this is definitely his last season at Hibs. I think it's a natural time to end it for both parties. The fact that potentially both the best chances last night fell to Boyle and we didn't score, sadly, it's an indictment of Martin Boyle this season, unfortunately. I think that's maybe doing him a disservice for the pass from Passlack isn't great, but I think it was Jeff who made the point. He doesn't even attempt to slide with his left, and then the chance in the second half, he tries to move his right foot to the left-hand side to then move it back over to the right and put it in with the outside of his foot. Just use the inside of your left foot, and it's a tap-in. I don't know why at the age of 33, 34, a professional football player isn't comfortable to even try and use his other foot, which is extremely disappointing. In that game last night, if it goes 1-0, there's a very good chance we win. If it goes 2-0, there's absolutely no way that they're coming back into it. So I wouldn't be against it. Yet again, last night, some of the substitutions really, really confused me. Last week, he took Barlasser off, who was the best midfielder last week, and the midfield just went to shit. Last night, Chaiwa was probably the best out of the midfield. Andrews actually forgot he was playing 35 minutes in until he was reminded he was wearing orange boots. And it's not a criticism of the player. It's obviously only his third game, really, since coming up the road. But I think it all comes down to me. What it comes down to me is taking so long in the window to get the team together. And then in the 3 games from most of the players coming in, Rangers, Dundee United and Hearts, you've had new players that have hardly had a chance to bed in, hardly had any training days together, and you've got 2 of the 3 biggest matches of the season in the space of 7-8 days. If those players have been in even a couple of weeks earlier, Paslak maybe knows the pitches, the conditions will be a bit better. He maybe doesn't put anywhere near as much on the pass, go 1-0 up, and they're not coming back because, as Joe says, I mean, how there's 18 points between those 2 sides based on last night's performance, the game earlier in the season, and the game at Easter Road. How they're 18 points ahead of us, just, if Stephen Hawking was still alive, it would confuse the fuck out of him because they are an absolutely dreadful football team. How they're 18 points ahead of us and, sitting top of the league in mid-February just astounds me. It absolutely does because they are fucking dreadful.
It sort of gave me a bit of confidence last night. And I kind of, the longer it goes with them at the top, the more folk will talk about them potentially winning the league. And there's probably quite a strong case to say it's theirs to lose now, and how big a bottle job it will be if they do go on to fuck it up for here. Do you know, like the slaggings that they'll take for fucking up when it's in their hands will be tremendous. But when I watched them, I think McInnes was trying to make it like, if Rangers and Celtic play shite and find a win, everybody praises them. Hearts have been shite every time I've seen them. I didn't watch a lot of Hearts. Like, I have to just like, if they were playing in my back garden, I wouldn't open the fucking curtains. So I can only go in when we've played them, and I just can't get my head around how they're that far in front. I totally agree with you. I'm going to put another one. So Rob also said Walsh can get to fuck. Mark Telfer says, evening nobody, what a life. And Charlie Craig said Paslak had a good chance in the first half. Bit of confidence, he would have taken it. J Star telling us about the Rangers score. 1875 said, evening troops, last night was shite, but we all need to get behind the team now for the rest of the season. Nick Walsh did suspended after that clown, blatant bias. Stephen, what did you make of Walsh's performance?
I think John's covered it quite well. I'd probably fall somewhere in the middle of absolutely rotten and corrupt, to be honest. I seen a still image. You had Tony Bloom, I think, sitting either next to Neil Doncaster or 2 seats along. Don't quite know how that's allowed to happen when, Hearts winning the league's probably the best thing that could happen to Neil Doncaster's job, to be quite honest, in terms of selling the rights to the league. I just thought it was just plain shite. I mean, the Kent challenge alone is a yellow card. Don't even take into consideration where it is in the pitch, stopping a move and things like that. It's a yellow card challenge. And Kent then 15, 20 minutes later commits an foul. Doesn't even get pulled up as it being his second foul. And the boy Leonard, who's probably got one of the worst haircuts I've ever seen. If they've got 2 players booked within the first 25 minutes through the heart and spine of their side, they're walking a tightrope the rest of the game. McInnes didn't make a change until I think 75, 76 minutes, and obviously one of them scored. And the commentators were initially criticising them, and then because they've obviously all got the love in for Hearts, were saying how great a move it was. But if Nick Walsh, and it's coming back to Roy Keane, if he just does his fucking job, Kent's on a booking, their centre-back's on a booking 5 minutes in, their central midfielder's on a booking 25 minutes in, they can't do anything thereafter. And then the Chaiwa one, I'm not entirely convinced it's a yellow, but I can see why it's given. But, the commentators and the crowd, everybody was just thinking, like, the Spider-Man gif when it's Spider-Man pointing to Spider-Man. It's a bit like that. It's like, how can he see one challenge? And somebody mentioned earlier with Kent, he doesn't even get a speaking to. He just like blows the whistle and just runs off as if it isn't even worthy of us talking to. I fall in right in between corrupt and shite because I don't think they're smart enough to be corrupt and not get detected, but I also don't think they're good enough to actually be seen as good enough to be a referee. There's somewhere in between.
Ryan Lyle said, we accept refereeing like that. Club won't call it out. It's cheating, plain and simple. Why we don't stand in front of the ball, slow the free kick down and simply defend it better. Mark your man, stop the cross. Cost us again. Needs a big reaction again on Saturday. We've got Billy Boy. Celtic fans said Hibs were never going to be allowed to win that game. The fix was in after 4 minutes. And Danny said, we know what cost us the goal, but what cost us the draw? What's the problem in the final third? We're not taking our chances. We dominated the second half, and that's 2 derbies now lost late in the game to set pieces. Is the problem selection or tactics or mindset? What do you think there, Stephen? Tactics, selection or mindset?
It's hard to disagree that it's all of them, to be honest. I was just thinking on one of my social media feeds the other day, it came up with the 4-4 game. You remember when we went 4-2 up in injury time and still didn't win?
Try not to remember that one.
I know. I was also thinking back to failing to take chances. You remember Didier Ragat's debut at Tynecastle where he missed an open goal? It seems to be ingrained into our psyche that we just can't seem to beat them when it really matters. We had the chance under Butcher to go there and relegate them, but we failed. We had the chance to beat them in the biggest cup final in our history. We failed. I don't think we've beaten them at Hampden, and I don't actually think we've ever beaten them at Hampden. There just seems to be a serious mentality problem just ingrained in the club, and it breaks my heart to say that because you hear about them, the first thing they say in the Hearts blueprint is you have to win the derbies, and they've played shite in 2.5 of them. In fact, less than 2.5, more than 2.5 of them. They're taking 6 points out of 9. And they're right now, if Rangers and Celtic win tonight, they're sitting 3 points clear. So you could argue that it's the derby wins that have got them sitting top, even though they've obviously beaten Rangers and Celtic as well. I think it's all three, to be honest. There's just something. I mean, to go to the 90 minutes is obviously the sign of a together team. And for us to not do it again in such a big game is a real worry. It's, considering the free kick happens in front of the Hibs technical area, why are they not all screaming, get back in position?
Aye. There's
a man down the line. That's it. If it's at the far side of the pitch, then fair enough, but it happens in front of the technical area. And that's the thing that I can't quite get out of my head.
Okay, Ian, I'm going to bring you in next. Just a couple of comments. So Tog said Walsh was like 2 men extra for them, though. We got kicked off the park and no bookings for them. JSR said hopefully the players don't down tools and they still fight for fourth. Barney Rubble said played reasonably well. Walsh was a disgrace. Rocky sleeping again, never a free kick, and he was taken 8 yards further forward. Not enough physicality in our midfield. Andrews and Barlaser don't tackle, and Dan says Paslak played well. Ian, what were your thoughts on it?
Oh, Stephen's depressed me so much. It really has. But I mean, basically, as everybody said, we failed to beat that's the weakest Hearts team I've ever seen in many years. And Hearts, but they keep on finding a way to win, and we don't. So last night, effectively, Derek McInnes beat David Gray, and Hearts are a better performing team than us. Nothing we can do about that just now. McInnes is a better coach than Gray. Because the league position says so. So basically, I mean, when I heard David talking after the match, he said, I'm frustrated because we switched off and they scored a quick free kick where we should have been slowing down the game. But he's the bloody coach. So we should be embedding this behaviour. Hearts do it all the time. So they actually stop the quick free kick because they're coached to do it. And the defenders, I don't know if you noticed it, but I just watched the highlights today. But the defense, because you can't see this if you're at the match, but the defenders, Hearts defenders, are actually bouncing on their toes at corners. I mean, they're coached to do that and free kicks into the box. And all other players are faster to the ball. They're more determined than our players because that is how they've been coached. And last night, it was clear that we had very talented players on the pitch, but the coaching just let us down. I mean, just like last time at Tiny, we created the best chances, failed to take any. As has been already said, I sound like a broken record, but finishing is a problem. All season and before, finishing problem. 5 shots, 1 on target. Our average shots for the season is 14 per game. So 5 last night, average is 14. And average, we get 5 shots on target in a game, and last night we got 1. So, I mean, the new guys, I agree with one of the last viewers there who said Paslak had a good game. I think he gets pass marks for of the new guys. Although Sophie Megwa would have done better than him, but not for Garnananga. I think O'Hara is a much better player, much more reliable and creative than him. Andrews, as Stephen said, Andrews really only came to the game in the last 15 minutes when Hearts really tired. and Scarlett is far too slow. So he can't press, and he created bugger all. So our top performers, I would say, were Chaiwa. I don't blame Rocky for the goal because they had 5 players in the box and Rocky was up against 2. And I would say Boyle was actually one of our most effective players. He created more problems for Hearts than I think any of the other players. But the Hearts subs obviously made a difference, and ours didn't. So Soto, apart from giving away the Hearts goal effectively, McGrath, and God knows what he was supposed to be doing, but except for blocking the cross, as you said, for the goal. And Ellie, I don't know, he was anonymous, but funnily enough, I feel the tactics were correct. We were trying to win the game, and we missed out the midfield. We played long balls, wide balls, and the tactics actually worked to get behind their defence. But our final ball was too poor, and their finishing was worse. So, I mean, it's hellish. And one of the things that's really obvious, Matty, is that there's loads of people who go to the derbies who are not at any other game. Certainly away games. So the Hibs first, they've joined Hibs first just for the games at Tiny. And the guy beside me is, I can't have a keep quiet, but the guy beside me slagging off Jack Iredale every time he touched the ball. And even complaining when Josh Campbell was warming up, So, I mean, it was just a rubbish game. I mean, we were terrible. I agree, Hearts are absolutely shite, absolutely terrible. But they found a way to win the game, and it's all down to the way we're coached. Our players did not look anywhere near as determined as them.
John, you get your hand up. I'll bring you in. Thanks, Ian.
It's just this point about the coaching masterclass that McInnes is meant to have given last night. I didn't see it, Ian. No, I mean, there's little points about defenders bouncing on toes. If you look at the setup for the free kick at the end, the free kick wasn't a free kick. We know that. Ellie's in the middle of the pitch, cutting off the flat ball into somebody on the edge of the area. The fullback's picking up the guy, and it's about the first time in the game that the ball's come in past him. The mistake's a midfielder who lets the ball go through him. I mean, Andrews is cutting out the ball that's getting pulled back to the edge of the area. He should be following one of the runners, and we've got too many players peeling off to the back post. Right? There's a switch off there because there's not the throw-in, but that's an in the game. Now, if you want to say it's an attitude thing, but to suggest that there's a coaching masterclass difference, because these teams have done that for the past 15 years, we would be sitting here with our eyes bleeding. I mean, we would love the position it was in, but when the bubble burst and we were left not having won the league, I mean, having played that shite football and been faced with that, we couldn't have coped with it. It's that difference in the sense that Gray is utterly shite as a coach and McInnes is brilliant. It just felt as if it was a bit much.
No, he's not. He's not shite, and David Gray's not shite. He's less experienced. And our players don't play. They don't do the things that the Hearts players do. So stand in front of the ball is so basic. It's so basic, but everybody has to be told that. Every single player in the team has to be determined. As you say, Ellie trots back. But I think
but that's the same. Was Ellie in the position he was meant to be in? If you look at when the free kick's taken, Ellie is 7 yards away, blocking the ball into the D.
Yeah, but Barlasser I think there's 2 players covering their last attacker at the back, and that's the problem. So, but basically, our players are doing what they're coached to do, right? And what's happening is we are not coached to do some of the basic things. And you see, and certainly, as you know, determination is part of coaching, motivation, decision making, and all that mental stuff. Hearts had it last night. We didn't.
I think Matty made the point earlier. I don't think that was a game last night where we lost on attitude. I mean, we lost on 15 seconds where a cross has gone through a midfielder who you would bet your bottom dollar on who could pick up a ball on the run. In terms of McGrath.
Jeff, you've got your hand up. Do you want to come
in? Yeah, just quickly on the free kick. Gray was raging that nobody stood on. Basically Ellie didn't stand on the ball and stop him taking a quick free kick. Now, if you've got to tell professional players, if you're nearest the ball in the last minute of a derby, you've got to stand on the ball and delay the free kick, you shouldn't be a professional. So that's not on coaching. That's just on. If it had been any other player but Ellie, and I love Ellie, but they would have stood on that ball. Ellie was, I don't say he switched off. As somebody said, he was cutting out the pass. The main thing was, do not let them take the free kick quickly till we're all ready. Everyone's in position. And they took it, and we were left one-on-one. Cross comes in, and the rest is history. So, yeah, that's not about coaching. That's about a player switching off. Just, it's Ellie. He said, he did it tiny when first half, I can't remember, they scored from a corner. He switched off. Guy on the edge of the box scored at the Hibs end. That was down to Ellie. Oh, the 1-1 game where they played with 10 men. He's done it all his career. It's just you've got to accept it's Ellie. But that's why it happened. Nothing to do with coaching. Nothing to do with McInnes being a fucking Pep Guardiola of the Scottish League. He's a one-trick pony.
I think I think the point about McGrath, no clearance. Like if McGrath makes the clearance as he should, the ball goes through him. If he doesn't take the fresh air swipe at it, that's it. The goal doesn't happen. We defend that situation quite well. It doesn't though. It goes through him and he scores. So. Barney Rubble said Chaiwa replaced too early and should have been replaced by Campbell and not McGrath. Kenny said, as Yuan is out of contract at the end of the season and looked totally uninterested, why did Elding not get on? And Dan said, still need to see where we land with regard to Gray. Mark says it's not over even if Brian McLaughlin sings. And Barney said Hearts were honking. The only thing the Greek superstar did was block a cross, celebrated like he'd scored a hat-trick. Kenny pointed out 18 fouls, no bookings, 10 fouls, 3 bookings. Malcolm on Twitter said, Walsh, abysmal all night, couldn't wait to get the cards out for Hibs, but let them away with everything. Harsh reality is, though, it's another big game gone. Images of that cunt McInnes dancing up the touchline and with the ball boy will be seen for years when these bastards win the league. They're not winning the league. George said, very low quality possession. Playing 2 strikers leaves the rest of the team a creativity problem that is not being solved. Throwing striker numbers at it is not a solution. Alfie said Walsh was a disgrace. And Williams said, not seen as bad a refereeing performance since that McDonald's advert. Another game of not making the final pass and being naive at a set piece. Gray will take the flak, but the players need looking at too. We need to phase out the expiring contracts and get the lads signed long-term in. Ian, a couple of things to pick out that. So McGrath coming on for Chaiwa, suggesting that Campbell might have been better served for that. What do you think there?
Oh, definitely. It's utterly ridiculous to bring McGrath on. He didn't even know where to go. He didn't even know where to stand. He was all over the place. Josh Campbell knows exactly. I mean, one of the things about coaching is selection, right? So I think David Gray got the selection wrong. So the new players who didn't play well, they shouldn't have been selected. Josh Campbell should have come on because he's always effective. He gets his head to the ball. And so, Jamie McGrath, I think, has to play from the start and has to find his way into a game. He certainly did. The same as Ellie, completely ineffective when he came home.
And the point about the players that are out of contract. So Joe had mentioned it for Saturday playing Soto and Scarlett up front. We've got obviously Yuan and Boyle at this moment are both going to be out of contract at the end of the season. Would you be looking to phase them out, Ian, and play the others instead?
Yeah, as I said 3 weeks ago, Ellie can't press. So if we're playing a press, Ellie can't press because he can't do anything. He never tackles. So if it's acceptable, as we were talking about there, Jeff said that Ellie, should have been standing the ball even, and David Gray was raging. Well, Ellie, but we know what Ellie does. He doesn't tackle. He doesn't do the things that. He only does the things that Ellie does. So if we want to have a reliable, consistent player, we can't play Ellie. If we want a mercurial player, to use your phrase, then we can play Ellie. But he doesn't do what I think we need the individual players to do when they play their part of the team. Just like last night, Scarlett was not pressing. So if on Saturday's match we need to press, then we can't have Scarlett starting.
Okay, an interesting wee discussion happening in the comments. So Keith said ref's performance is irrelevant, doesn't affect how we play, doesn't stop us missing chances or defending crosses into the box. Goals win games, we miss far too many chances, simply not good enough. Michael said no blame on the team or Gray, couldn't get a platform to attack from with that ref, yet still created two great chances. They got constant chance to put the ball in the box from dodgy decisions. And Rob said, I disagree with Keith, it makes Hibs players think twice about making challenges and encourages Hearts players to take more chances. Michael pointed out that they couldn't break us down in normal play the whole night. Ian, I can't remember if I asked you about your views on the referee's performance, but the point there about the referee impacting the game, do you think the referee had a say in how things went last night?
It definitely did. It definitely did. But obviously we can't blame the referee for losing, but he definitely had an impact. Absolutely, definitely. They're right from the start, because the tone of the game is set by how the referee is going to do it. And I think you said about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, he played to what the referee's doing, or maybe it was other John that said that. But once you realise what the way the referee is going to judge things, then you play to that. And obviously, right from the start, the fact that Frankie Kent, I didn't even know the guy's name, but the fact that he didn't get booked means that, this is game on then. I think the thing I did notice from watching the highlights, which obviously you can't see at the match, but when Rocky tried the shot near their goal, was trying to turn, and their guy sort of dived over the top. And it was amazing. I can't remember who the guy is, but he fell to the ground. The goalkeeper's all over him. He okay? And he's holding his head. He never got near his head. Never touched him. So I mean, I think that's outrageous. And I think all that will happen is his performance will be rated, and he will presumably not be allowed. Or well, I don't know what will happen.
He'll be Easter on Saturday. We'll have him for St Mirren.
Yeah. It definitely affected the game, yeah. But I mean, it's our performance that it's just our performance is disgraceful. It wasn't good enough. Hearts are shite. We have much better players. We just didn't play the game in the way they did. They were far more determined than we were.
Steve is a Hearts fan that's joined us on YouTube. He's left a comment. He's saying, sorry everybody had to witness us doing that fucking stupid twirly scarf thing and looking like gimps. Nice to apologise for that, Steve, and thanks for tuning in as well. Dan said, Hearts were shite. How we lost that is beyond me. Either ref, etc. How the fuck did we not score though? Shite. Right, I think we'll park the derby there now. We will have a quick round the table for the game against St Mirren. Jeff, I'll come back to you next. How do you see it going at the weekend against St Mirren? A wee Valentine's Day tie for the Hibs?
Yeah, I think we'll win. It'll be interesting to see what the team selection is. I thought Garananga had a particularly poor game last night. Defensively, it wasn't bad, but whenever the ball went out to him, it took him an age to control it, and everything broke down. We looked better with O'Hara on there, so hopefully O'Hara. I'd certainly start Soto. So I think the game will be a typical game against St Mirren. They'll be big, nasty, lump the ball up to the big guy up front. Gogic will be running around daft like he always does. But I think we'll win about 2-0.
Okay, I'll take a clean sheet and a 2-0 prediction for you. John, same question to you.
Again, I'm expecting us to do what we did after the last one, come back, play the team at the bottom of the league and beat them 4-0. That's what we did to Livy the last time. But again, it's the team selection that's going to be the issue. I don't see McGrath starting. He didn't get enough minutes the other night, so I think he'll still be on the bench. I think it'll be fairly close. Garananga didn't look particularly clever. I mean, certainly from what I was seeing on the telly, just looked a bit unnerved and looked like a player who didn't have a lot of minutes in the past couple of months. There was points where he strolled with the ball and he was looking quite comfortable, but he's either turned his ankle or tweaked his Achilles for coming off, which again will have screwed up how they were doing their substitutions later in the match. So he won't start. O'Hara came on and I thought we looked much better straight away with him. So happy with that. The tough bit, and it's been the hardest question all season, is who are the two you play up front? I mean, we've tried to pair him between Clegy, Bowie, Boyle, Ellie. I mean, before the transfer window, we've now got a couple of new names in there. I don't have a bloody clue who the best two to play up front are anymore, if I'm brutally honest about it. I like Shuto because we're going to be playing against Land of the Giants, who think they're very clever from free kicks. So having another good big in there, but it didn't quite work like that last night. Um, but his attitude and application, Scarlett, Scarlett has to work out where he is. I mean, he's done that bit, good game, bad game, or good game, not so good game. Boyle, as Ian says, he's always got that little bit of a threat, and he's the one player that the opposition teams worry about a wee bit. So other than the top two, I don't know, but yeah, repeat the Livingston game, come back with a 4-0 victory, everything's good again.
Take that, Joe. Same question to you.
Interesting, right? St Mirren are currently drawing 2-2 with a very poor Kilmarnock side. I think Hibs will win about 3-1. I would actually really go for it with our players, not the bloody loanies. I would start off with Suto and Eldon, is it, the 19-year-old laddie. I would just start with a pair of them. Let's just go for it, because that's the future.
I think we maybe will see Eldon, because I thought he might have featured in at least one of the last two games after coming on against Rangers. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him on Saturday. Excuse me, Stephen. What about you?
Well, it's almost at must-win territory now, with the gap to Falkirk being, well, it would be 0 if they manage to get the business done against Dundee tonight. And they've got Dundee United on Saturday, who, just out of spite, will probably deliberately set up to lose because Goodwin hates us. Unfortunately, our recent record, I think I was still at school the last time we beat St Mirren in Easter Road. That's how long ago it feels like, to be honest. And I left school 20 years ago. So it's almost at must-win territory now. And if we're relying on, one of the Ugly Sisters or Motherwell potentially to win the cup, we need to obviously try and target 5th place. I don't think 4th is out of the question, but it's looking, I think, in all honesty, Motherwell probably are a better team than us, and it certainly feels like that. So it's must-win territory. I would, if I was to start Boyle, I wouldn't start him up front, to be quite honest. I don't quite know how Boyle's became de facto striker when he wasn't always a striker at Hibs. Yep. So I don't quite get why Boyle always seems to start up front. I'm kind of with Joe. Just chuck the new laddie and see how he gets on. Because Scarlett, he didn't do enough last night, I think, to merit the start. Shuto coming on last week and scoring probably earned potentially a start last night ahead of Scarlett. He didn't obviously get it. So I think with the physicality that St Mirren have at the back, I think he's a certainty to start. I don't think we'll start two big guys, so I think it might be the young laddie and Shuto up front. But I'll never call Hibs to lose, but I'll go 2-1 Hibs. I'll go 2-1 Hibs.
Fair enough. Joe, were you going to come in there? I wasn't sure if you signalled.
Just to say, after 60 minutes, Falkirk are winning 1-0 at the moment.
Great. It never rains, but it does rain, especially if you're in Gorgie. It seems to always fucking rain there every time we go. And Ian, last word to you on the St Mirren game on Saturday.
Yeah, 2-0. Eildon up front with Kathleen McGovern. Kathleen McGovern is actually looking really good now. So I think the two of them up front. And I'd just like to tell you that last night I decided to break the habit of a lifetime and wait until the security wall came down. And as a result, I forgot my age and started chatting up this gorgeous Glaswegian Polish woman, who Angela was just lovely. And she talked to me for ages before Block 7 came out, and she said, I've got to go now, Ian. So it was really memorable. It really made my night.
Excellent. Sorry, what score did you say it was going to be on Saturday?
Fuck no, it was Kathleen McGovern up front. 2-0 is what I said. Yeah.
Tremendous.
Memories of Angela. Yeah.
Right, on that note, then we shall wrap up, guys. Thanks very much for joining me tonight. As I said at the top of the episode, I really appreciate you giving up an hour or so of a Wednesday evening to come and do this. And again, just to remind folk that this is an open forum. We post the Zoom details. We don't know who's going to be on until the call starts. The Zoom details are on Patreon, they're on YouTube. So if you want to come and join and give your views live as well, join in the conversation, you're more than welcome. That's us. We'll be back on Friday to preview the St Mirren game. That'll be Colin, John, and myself, and then obviously back on Sunday as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.